Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Coffee, where today we're going to be diving into the final Rise of Skywalker trailer with a full in-depth breakdown. That's here today on Star Wars Coffee. Alright, thank you everyone for joining me today. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much. And please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button on this video and any other video that you watch. And be sure to hit that notification bell, not once, but twice, so that you're always notified the second a new video goes live. Alright, thank you to all of the returning coffee drinkers as well. But with that being said, let's dive in to the final Rise of Skywalker trailer. Alright, so we actually have a theatrical poster now that released right after the trailer dropped. So here's a look at that real quick. Alright, so first, obviously, we see that Lucasfilm logo, right? So I say that just so you can take a look at this poster here. But now we go into the actual trailer, and we see, first off, we see Rey in the forest doing some of her training with Leia. So Rey is going to be doing her training with Leia, obviously taking off where Luke left on Ahch-To. And remember, Rey has all of those Jedi texts that she took from the Force tree before Yoda decided to burn it. So she has those, and she's also been training with Leia. So we have that. And then what we go into next is we see Rey jumping into this wreckage of a Death Star destroyer. And this is going to be reminiscent of her in The Force Awakens, where she's just scavenging to get her portions for food that day. And so expect both of these sequences here at the very beginning to be in Act 1. Expect Finn here taking a look through his binoculars to be when they're all going to look for the contact that Leia has for them, which is going to be Lando. So that's going to be in Act 2, presumably. And then we're going to go to another shot of Rey doing her training. This time she has a lightsaber. So that's going to be another Act 1 thing. And then we flash to the Resistance base where we can see Lando is there. He's prevalent. And then we also see Poe. It looks like he's doing the running of this meeting. We go into Rose, and behind Rose, we actually see... So we see Rose, and she's clearly been promoted in the Resistance fleet now. She's a commander in the Resistance army now. So that is something to note. And then right behind Rose, you can see Dominic Monaghan, and we also have Billy Lord there. And then we're going to flash forward to another shot of the Resistance here, and some Resistance ships looking overhead, and we see Kylo Ren walking out like a total BA of this massive wave just ready to go. And then we see the footage here from the last trailer teaser we got yesterday, where all of these TIE fighters are heading onto this ice world. And then we have this really, really good shot of the Emperor's throne for this movie, which I have a video on. And this is Palpatine's throne, and it really does look a lot, and I mean a lot like Ralph McQuarrie's Return of the Jedi concept art. I'll put that in a picture-in-picture right here. This is from 1981 for the sketches for Palpatine's throne room, and you can see that they kind of took this and literally just transferred it in here and just kind of changed the ambiance of it to be much darker. And then we go to another shot from that last teaser trailer yesterday, where we have all of these Resistance ships. And it's important to note here that if you look and you zoom in really closely on the left-hand side of the Falcon, you can see Lando and Chewie are the ones piloting that. And then it's also important to know that you see Ghost from Rebels to the right of the Falcon. And then we also have Han's freighter in there. The one from Kanji Club is also in there in the back, and you can see that too as well. And then we move on to the gang getting into the cockpit of the Falcon, which was the first teaser for the final trailer that we got a couple days ago. Then we go back to the D-23 footage that we first saw there, where we get the waves crashing and the battle on the Death Star 2 wreckage. Some new shots of that, which looks really visually stunning. All of these waves erupting in the background as they battle it out. And then we get to this really important sequence of the film, where we have 3PO, who is essentially going to be wiped by Babu Freak, taking his last look at his friends to help force the Resistance with their mission here, because they have this Death Star dagger, or not the Death Star dagger, they have a dagger from the Sith that has writing on it that they can't read. And so they take it here, and Babu Freak can do it, and 3PO can read it, but he has to be wiped in order to read it and put that program ability on him. So he's taking a last look at his friends, and that's what he means when he says that. And we can actually see that dagger later in the trailer, and I'll point that out when that time comes. And then we see Poe, Chewie, and Finn blasting down stormtroopers, which is, par for the course in a Star Wars movie. Looks very visually stunning. We have that unused footage from The Force Awakens with Carrie Fisher and Rey. And so we have that in their embrace. Remember, JJ's working all of that unused footage from The Force Awakens into Leia's role in this movie. And then we see the Resistance outrunning some members of the First Order as they're looking for their contact, and probably Act 2, I would say. And then we see another shot of Lando and Chewie, and this is going to be ensuing in that big old space battle from all of those other chips with Ghost and Han's freighter in there, battling all of those super Death Star destroyers where they have the Death Star tech mounted onto the Star Destroyer. We see Finn on the Death Star 2 wreckage, where I'm sure Finn is racing up while Kylo and Rey are battling with their sabers, and you can see John Boyega get into his classic screaming at Rey stance, which is clearly what he's about to do. And then we have this really, really important part where this detail of the Death Star dagger comes in. Rey is holding it in this sequence where Kylo is masked, and she is there. It looks like they're destroying Darth Vader's armor, or not armor, his suit, and Rey is holding the Death Star dagger there. And that's an important, because that's one of the MacGuffins that they need to wipe 3PO for. And so that's a really important scene, and here's an image of Rey holding that dagger that most people wouldn't have been able to pick up on. And then we go to see more shots of this epic space battle between the Resistance and the First Order, which is freaking awesome visually. It's so dark, it's mysterious, it's gloomy. It looks like it's going to be a really fantastic fight, space battle in this, all of Star Wars. Then we get this great shot of Kylo with all of this gunfire going around. Presumably it's not lightning, but obviously it looks like lightning as a visual effect. And Kylo's making his decision here. And we have this epic sequence where we finally get that glimpse of Palpatine after we hear his voice during the trailer. And it is just so cool because we see Palpatine moving. And I've been getting some questions on this as to whether or not he's in his life support system from the leaks that have been going around. And it is not. He's just sitting on his throne, the Ralph McQuarrie concept throne. That's the throne he's sitting on. He's fine. You can see his head actually move if you look at it closely. And we have Rey just standing there, finally meeting the true kingpin of this whole First Order, and Snoke wanting to be the head honcho. Clearly he was just a pawn in Palpatine's plan. And then we go just to this final shot of Rey with her lightsaber ignited, and that's how the trailer ends. All of the things I pointed out, I hope you didn't notice. I hope you learned something new in this, some Easter eggs that you didn't know about. That wraps things up for me here in this video. Let me know what you guys think about this video in the comments down below. What did you think of the trailer? I've been seeing comments on it. It's kind of a mixed review, mixed bag of tricks. For those who didn't think they were going to like it, didn't seem to like it, and those who did really liked it. And a lot of you guys have been telling me that it really lines up with those plot leaks that I did, which is true. It does do that pretty well. So I would expect about 80% of those leaks in the plot leaks videos that I have of the Rise of Skywalker story leaked playlist that I have to actually come to fruition in this. The reshoots were finished not very long ago, so I'm sure some of it is going to be tweaked. There's rumor going around that they were doing 6 potential endings, so that ending might be a little different as well. But that's just my forewarning. Most of it I would expect to be true. So if you want to see a more detailed, in-depth version from what we got in the trailer and you just can't wait for the movie to come out, I'll have a link to those playlists and videos in the description as well at the end. All right, so that wraps things up for me here in this video. Thank you so much. God bless, and may the Force be with you.